Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on fostering innovation mindsets. I'm Shweta Balakrishnan, Program Executive, KKEM, your host for the session. Before we embark on this journey of innovation, allow me to introduce our distinguished speaker, Mr. Pradeep S., Assistant Vice President, Nest Digital Private Limited. With more than 2 decades of experience, Mr. Pradeep has developed organizational capacities, managed projects, applied design thinking techniques, carried out marketing initiatives, and created strategic plans. He is highly esteemed by both corporate and governmental entities for his proactive approach to bringing about change and his exceptional ability to turn underperforming groups into high achieving ones. Mr. Pradeep is currently the Assistant Vice President and Head of Nest Digital Academy, a critical Nest Group division. He led the ICT Academy of Kerala's retail training unit before taking on this position, demonstrating his commitment to developing talent and encouraging creativity. We are honored to have you, sir. Before we commence, I kindly request all the participants to fill out the attendance form provided in the chat box. Having said that, I would also like to give an overview of today's agenda. The webinar is scheduled for a total duration of 1 hour. Mr. Pradeep S. will deliver his presentation for the first 45 minutes, followed by a 15 minutes question and answer session. Feel free to drop your queries in the chat box throughout the presentation, and they will be addressed during the Q&A session. Without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Pradeep S. to enlighten us on fostering an innovation mindset. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Sweta, for the wonderful introduction, and very good evening, friends. I'm really glad to deliver a session on behalf of KDISC. So let me, since Sweta introduced myself, I'll give you a small introduction about the company I do represent. So I do represent Nest Group. You might have known about Nest Group. So we are actually a complete engineering company, starting from electronics manufacturing to we are into the OEM, original equipment manufacturing, ODC, or original design and manufacturing. So I do represent the software arm, which is called Nest Digital. So I'm heading the learning and development of Nest Digital. Okay. So a company like us, which the greatest challenge for a company like which is working on the niche and knowledge industry, the talent is the biggest constraints for us. So getting the right talent is the biggest challenge for us. Okay, and so my role in Nest Digital is to building the capability of our employees, as well as we engage with academia to understand, or build their capability. It is like giving back to the academia. So I'm very glad that I've been invited for this particular webinar. So my session, as you know, the topic revolves around the innovation mindset, fostering innovation mindset. So my humble request is I will be asking few questions, and most of the sessions which I'm going to deliver the concepts, which is very simple. I don't want to go with a lot of jargons. Okay, so I keep on asking questions, and you can actually use your chat for the responses. Okay, with that in mind, I am going to share the screen. Hope the screen is visible, right? So
Yes, sir,
yeah. So I'll be talking about three things. So one is what is the need for innovation, and what are the different kinds of innovation. When you talk about innovation, there are different types of innovation out there. Okay, some are saying about disruptive innovation, some are talking about incremental innovation. So what are the different kinds of innovation? And finally, innovation mindset. As an aspiring professional, okay, so what kind of quality you would like to have when you are applying for a job, especially in the IT or a knowledge industry? Okay, so there is a concept called innovation mindset. So how can you develop an innovation mindset? Right. So let me start with the first one. Okay, so why innovation is important? Maybe. So that's a question I would like to start with. Okay, so can you tell me, maybe you can put on the chat, okay, so why innovation is very critical and important? Everybody's talking about innovation. So why innovation is very critical? you can take your chat. Okay, yeah, to be unique. Good. So I would like to have a lot of responses from your side to be very unique. Yeah, to develop skills to maximize productivity. Wow, good. So anything else? Okay. So thanks for your response. So couple of reasons. So one is, okay, so it is world. Okay, so not world. Pandemic actually hit the world, and we were actually had a big challenge. Okay, how we can take that. Okay, after the invention of virus, okay, then this problem will solve. So there, okay, the new problems came. Okay, the Russia Ukraine war came, and that actually impacted the economy. Then, okay, when we are actually going to solve that particular problem, or when we understand that, okay, there is a the business is coming up. Okay, there is another challenge like Israel Palestine war. Okay, so it is like the problems are like, okay, when you go to a seashore, okay, you can see one wave of coming up. Okay, then you feel that, okay, that you are overcome that particular wave, but there will be another wave coming. So world is full of problems. So Albert Einstein said that we cannot solve the problem with the same thinking we have created them. Now, second is what we call as we work in something, or we are living in a world called VUCA world. So what is a VUCA world? So it is highly volatile. Okay, so the business is highly volatile. A business which is successful in one country may not be successful in another country. Okay, so it is very, very difficult to determine the success of the business, and it is very volatile also. Now it is uncertain, okay, and it is complex and ambiguous. Now, what is the difference between uncertain and ambiguous? Even though it looks very similar, okay, there is a big difference is there. So when it comes to uncertainty, you don't have a data regarding a particular situation. So since you don't have a data, you don't know the outcome also. Just for an example, okay, when pandemic hits us, okay, so the biggest challenge for us is, okay, we don't have any data regarding this particular virus. Okay, so we don't have any previous data how virus is behaved in a human body. So we had only one solution. So the only one solution we had was, okay, we was closing down, or we had a lockdown. Okay, because we don't know what is going to happen. We feared that, okay, a large section of the society get eradicated because of this coronavirus. Now, second is ambiguous. What if ambiguous? You have a data, but it is very difficult to get insights from that particular data. Okay, going back to the same problem. Okay, so after the invention of coronavirus, we thought that, okay, we will take that virus. Okay, we were able to solve this problem, but we found out there are new and new variants of virus actually came in the world, and it is very difficult to tame that kind of virus. So we have a data, but we are not properly able to get insights for it. So a lot of business situations are like that. So even though you have a data, it is very difficult to get an insight of it. And business is highly complex. It depends upon various factors, right? Okay, it depends upon the customer factors. It depends upon the international business factors, the legal factors, tariffs. It works on very, very complicated. Now, the third reason is there is something called customer expectation. Nowadays, the customer expectations are changing at a very faster pace. So you may be heard about a concept called product life cycle. So how many of you heard about a concept called product life cycle? If you heard about a product life cycle, you can just yes in the chat. Good. So products life cycle is simple, just like a human life. Okay, so human life have a cycle, right? Okay, starting as an infant to the teenage, to the middle age, to the old age, and to the death. Similarly, a product is also having a life cycle. So when a product is being introduced, okay, so we can consider this through a graph. So the vertical axis talks about the sales, and horizontal axis talks about, okay, the time. So when a product is being introduced, the sales may be initially be very less, okay, because of multiple reasons. One is customer may not be ready to accept a new product. They don't want to take any kind of risk. Now, second, the awareness of this particular product may not be very high. Okay, the company have to invest a lot on advertising and marketing. Now, after sometimes when the customers find this product is good, okay, through the word of mouth, okay, there will be steep increase in the sales. Okay, so the growth and the product will, after certain stage, it will get matured because there can be new products coming into the market, or the customer changes are being, customers' preference are being changed. So slowly that product will get declined. So there is a concept called product extension. So what do you mean by product extension? It is extending our life, right? Okay. For example, some famous film actors, even after the certain age, also they want to stay in the market. I mean, they need to stay in the film industry. So they do a lot of cosmetic changes. So they need to extend their professional life. Similarly, in the case of a product also, the companies do a lot of changes in the product. For example, Alto car, okay, which is in the market for the last 20 years. So you can see there will be a lot of changes happening in that particular model, maybe every 3 or 4 years. It can be cosmetic changes, it can be a little bit of major changes is also there. Now, the product extension can be done two ways. So one is organic. What I said, like making changes in the car, okay, it can be an organic. It can be an inorganic also. So what will be inorganic? Okay. For example, the best example is the Facebook. Okay, so Facebook was the market leader for quite some point of time. So after some time, okay, they actually had a threat from the other new players like Instagram, okay, and WhatsApp, because they were offering a very unique kind of feature which was not offered by Facebook. So what they did was they acquired both Facebook and for Instagram and WhatsApp, and they remained the leadership position. So that was called inorganic growth. Now, second challenge is you know this story, right? Okay, Nokia. So Nokia, these two models, your parents might have used this particular model. I have used this particular these model. Okay, 2100 and 3100. Okay, so this is one of the most successful mobile launches ever in the world. So Nokia was the market leader for quite some point of time. Okay, now but after some time Nokia become a big failure, okay, because they felt that as far as they produce a mobiles, okay, Nokia mobiles, people will purchase it. They didn't able to understand the changing taste and preference of the customers. So what is the challenge is, okay, as a company, you need to constantly innovate because customers' taste and preferences are changing. Now, second challenge is how fast you need to diffuse the innovation in the market. For example, Honda used to take 5 years to develop a new car in 1980s. Okay, so that time was reduced to 3 years in 1990s. Now they are able to roll out multiple models in a year. HP, it is a market leader in the printing business. Okay, so they used to take around 4.5 years to make a new printer. Okay, now they are able to bring out new models in every 2 months. Okay, so the challenge for the company is multi-fold. So one is you need to produce new and new innovative products, and you need to diffuse this innovation as fast as possible. So you may be knowing Apple's, okay, Apple company used to launch one or two more. Apple phone used to launch one or two models. Now, because customers' expectations are changing, they are forced to launch 4 or 5 model in every year. So that boils to the point, okay, what is innovation? So it is a process which new ideas are successfully exploited, created, which can create as economy, social, and environment value. So some words which are something similar to innovation is creativity, invention. So what is the difference between creativity, invention, and innovation? Can anybody uh, think about the same and can put in the chat? So what's the difference between creativity, invention, and innovation? Even though these three words looks very, very similar. Can you use the chat extensively? So what do you mean by creativity? So what do you mean by invention? So innovation we already have seen, okay? So any response? Fine. So let me go forward. So creativity is generating new and valuable ideas. So, when we were a kid, okay, we used to create we had a lot of ideas. Okay, we created we draw a lot of pictures. Okay, slowly that creativity quotient can come down to the people. So invention is act of creating something entirely new or for the first time. So what is innovation? Okay, so it is turning the creative ideas or invention which have a scientific backing into a practical and viable solutions, which it can solve the pains of the customers or which it can improve the standard of the living of the people. So that is innovation. So that leads to the next question. What are the different kinds of innovation? So in a large sense, the innovation can be divided into four major buckets. So one is product innovation, one is process innovation, one is marketing innovation, and one is organization innovation. So it is very simple. Maybe I'll just ask you questions. So can you give an example of product innovation? An innovation which leads to massive changes in the product. So can you just give an example of product innovation? Please use the chat. Mobile phones. Can you give a specific company? Yeah, iPhone, touch screen, automatic vacuum cleaner. Good. Okay, great. So one example of product innovation, Google. Okay, so Google is famous for a lot of innovation. So Google started with the email service provider. Now how many if you look up at their platform, okay, they offer a lot of services, and that is being constantly updated. Our Sundar Pichai was earlier the product manager, and he actually created I think more than 10 options in the Google platform. So they constantly make a lot of innovation, okay, and that is why they are leader in the market also. So next is, I said that there are four kinds of innovation. One is product innovation, one is process innovation, one is marketing innovation, and one is organizational innovation. So the next question is something related to the process innovation. So before going ahead and explaining about process innovation, let me ask a question. Okay? So which is the fourth largest economy in the world? So if you read the newspaper, you might be knowing this. Fourth largest economy in the world. First is obviously US, second is China, and India actually is in the top 5. Okay, India is in 5. Okay. Okay, good. So it is Japan. Okay. Now Japan is the fourth largest economy. Okay. So now if you take Japan as a country, okay, Japan as a country have a lot of disadvantages. Okay. So can you think about what are the disadvantages Japan as a country have? You can put on chat. What are the disadvantages? Disaster. Yeah, Japan is very famous. Not famous. Okay, Japan is prone to natural calamities. Okay, like earthquakes are like daily affair for them. Low manpower. Okay, yeah. So one of the challenge for the Japan is, okay, they have a high life expectancy. Okay, a lot of people are in the old age. So one advantage for India is more than 50% of the Indians are less than 35 years old. So we have one of the highest workforce in the world. No shortage in natural resources, obviously. So Japan does not blessed with a lot of natural resources like India or China or US. Okay, good. Now Japan is a small country. Okay, and if you talk about Japan geography, around 70% of the Japan is either consist of mountains or islands, which is not very suitable for agriculture and not suitable for the industry also. Okay. Now, now the next challenge is after the Second World War, Japan was completely devastated. Okay, so they had to start from the scratch. So despite all these challenges, okay, Japan is the leading economy in the world. Okay, so they were in the second, third, fourth. Okay, so they are always on the top peak. So can you tell me what is the reason why even despite all these disadvantages, okay, and it is a very small country, maybe I think maybe probably it can be 1/20 the size of India. Uh, Despite all these challenges, they are the largest economies in the world. Okay, so can you tell me what is the reason why Japan becomes so successful? Okay, common goal, yeah. So they have a great culture. Okay, they actually share their vision of the country. They make innovations, great, good, hard work, yeah. Obviously, they are very punctual. Okay, their work culture is, I mean, very good. Educational system, their education system is really good. Yeah. So smart work, they know their weakness and strength. Okay, that was a good one, Alina. So they know their strengths and weakness. Okay, that is where I'm just coming to. Now, after the Second World War, Japan had a big problem. Okay, they had less resources, both natural resources, okay, human resources, everything was less for them. So they thought of something, okay, how we can be a very competitive way with less resources. Now, if you talk about Japanese product, what comes to your mind? This is a Japanese product. What comes to your mind? What is the first impression that comes to your mind? Quality, obviously. Yeah, Japanese bikes. Okay. So quality comes to our mind, right? Japan, Germany, the quality comes to our mind. Japan actually conquered the world because of the high quality products. Now, how they were able to bring out high quality products, despite they had a lot of challenges, okay? They have less natural resources, everything was less for them. So they actually did a lot of innovations in their manufacturing system. Okay, you might be heard about a lot of concepts like TQM, TPM, Six Sigma, and most of these most of these were originated in US, but it was practically implemented in Japan because they had a lot of challenges. So that leads to our next question. Can you tell me which is the largest car manufacturer in the world? Largest car manufacturer in the world? Yeah, Toyota. Absolutely. Now, if you talk about Toyota, Toyota is comparatively a new company. Okay, when you compare with companies like Ford, the General Motors, and Mercedes-Benz, which they have more than 100 years of existence. So Toyota was earlier into the textile business. They started they ventured into the car manufacturing system by around 1960s. So they came out with something called Toyota production system, okay, which is a patented one. Okay, so they are similar to the other company. They also had a big challenges, okay, because their demand is less. Okay, the raw materials are less. Everything was less. Okay, so they were not able to afford maintain high inventory levels. So they came out with something called Toyota production system. So these are the founders of the Toyota production system. So they came out concept called just-in-time manufacturing. Okay, you may be knowing about these things. Okay, zero defects, zero paper, zero accidents, zero delays, zero breakdown, zero inventory. So, so Toyota become one of the world famous or one of the most reliable cars in the world, or high quality cars in the world because of the innovation in the process. Okay. So that is a small example of process innovation. So let me go to the third one. Okay, the marketing innovation. So you can have a lot of examples for the marketing innovation. For example, how Geo came or entered into the highly competitive telecom market. Okay, so they came out with a free mobile connection with 1 GB as a free of cost. Okay, so after some time we got accustomed, we were habituated, or we hooked to the 1 GB data. Just like a food, shelter, clothing. Okay, this 1 GB data in a day become our basic necessity. So another example for marketing innovation is this company L'Oreal. Okay, so if you ask girls, okay, so one of the biggest confusion they may have is, okay, identify, okay, which kind of cosmetics, okay, which lipsticks which suits their body, which suits their lips, okay, or which the powder which suits their skin. So they came out with an app, okay, which have an AI inbuilt in that. Okay, so you can take a selfie, and this particular platform will tell, okay, which cosmetic is suitable for them. So this is one example of marketing innovation. Now the last one is the organizational innovation. Okay, so McDonald's, okay, they have a concept called noodles team. So where every employee can share their ideas, okay, despite the hierarchy. Okay, so they will actually discuss these ideas, they will evaluate these ideas, and if the ideas is really good, they will implement it. So apart from that, another company is Amazon. Okay, so one of the philosophy of mission statement of Amazon is to be the most customer centric company in the earth. Okay, so they have a organizational culture where all the people working different departments, okay, will be rotated or will be needs to work in the customer service department. You know, if you work in a customer service department, it is not very easy because you need to interact with the customers. You need to hear all the complaints of the customers. So one advantage is if I'm a finance guy, I may not be really know what is the end customer's pain points. Okay, so if you are rotated to a customer service department, okay, you really understand, okay, what is the real challenge. Okay. So for example, if I'm into R&D, if I'm an IT guy, if I'm working in a customer service department, I can really understand what is the pain point of the customer. So later on, I can go back to my department. I can really think about a solutions, okay, which can solve the pain points of the customers. So this is what we call as organizational innovation. Some companies have an inherent culture, okay, to bring out the innovation. So now we have seen four major buckets of innovation. So start with the product innovation, process innovation, marketing innovation, and organizational innovation. Then we can further subdivide this innovation into these categories. So this is called radical innovation. There is something called incremental innovation. There is something called disruptive innovation. There's something called platform innovation. There's something called open innovation. And there is something called frugal innovation. So let us understand each concepts. So radical innovation. So radical innovation means a lot of changes in the product. So massive changes in the product. And incremental innovation is minor changes in the product. So can you tell some example where there was a massive changes in the product being happened? Can you take your chat and can you give an example where there was massive changes in the product? Okay. So this is an example. Okay. Now QWERTY phones to Apple phone. Okay. They came out with navigating all the function through the one touch. Incremental innovation. Okay, now Apple is came out with Apple 15, okay, then Apple 15 and Apple 15 Pro, right? Okay, so there's no much difference is there. Okay, it is only an incremental innovation. Now let us talk about disruptive innovation. So can anybody tell about what is disruptive innovation? Disruptive. It actually lies in that particular word, disruptive. Okay. So let me share. So disruptive innovations refers to a major changes in the market. Okay, when a new product is being introduced or a service is being introduced. So that product or services can actually eliminate a certain kind of industry. So can somebody think about an example of disruptive innovation? Good, Netflix. Yeah. So Netflix is a classic example. So I don't know if you know. Okay, when Netflix was launched in the market, they had a different business model. Their business model was delivering DVDs and CVDs to the homes. So at that point of time, the Blockbuster was the market leader. Okay, so later on, okay, they constantly watches the changing taste and preference of the customer. They came to understand that okay, customers are slowly moving to internet for the entertainment. So that is the point. Okay, they started something called OTT or streaming platform. On a sudden day, they actually stopped their the cash cow of delivering DVDs to the homes of the people. Okay, now what happened was okay, they launched OTT platforms. Okay, and they constantly innovated in their platform. Okay, so that is the beauty of Netflix. After some time, they understood a large segment of the people are going to the movie theaters. So is it possible to tap that market? So what they did was, okay, they came out with their own production houses, okay, and that movies or that series can be seen only through the Netflix platform, right? Okay. Then they had inbuilt AI and machine learning where they will be able to understand the customer taste and preferences, and the customers were able to give a customized notification. And then okay, they came out with another innovation. Okay, whether earlier the trailers used to be only the pictures where we cannot make a proper judgment. Okay, now they came out with a 30 seconds trailer where you can make up a judgment whether this movie matches our interest. So that is a classic example. Okay, thanks for sharing that. So this is a small example. Okay, from sustaining technologies to disruptive technologies. So the need for a digital camera is eliminated with the invention of phones. I mean smartphones. Okay, the need for tape recorder gone with the invention of iPod. Okay, Britannica Encyclopedia being replaced with Wikipedia, Blockbuster Wikipedia with replaced with the Netflix, traditional taxi being replaced with the Uber platforms. Now, platform innovation. So, what is the platform innovation? So, the the platform innovation refers to the developments of, for example, if you want to use a product, okay, you need to actually depend upon a lot of other factors also. So if you are able to improve on the other factors or subsidiary products, okay, your product entire user experience can get enhanced. So the great example is Apple. In management, there is a concept called forward integration, backward integration. Okay. Now, if you look about Apple product, okay, the Apple, their hardware, their software, okay, their accessories, everything is actually manufactured directly or indirectly by the Apple. So they have a seamless integration, and they actually uh, derive a lot of profit. Okay, because if you use some other phones, okay, you need to use Android operating systems. Okay. In the case of Apple, okay, you need to with Apple iOS itself. So when you make innovations in the subsidiary or the related products, the entire user experience get enhanced. So that is what we call as platform innovation. For example, when Facebook was launched, okay, so it was launched as just a connecting platform for with your friends and family. Later on, they add a lot of features, okay, where you can live stream your videos, you can put your advertisements, okay. So that platform, the entire Facebook user experience get enhanced. So that is what we call as platform innovation. Now, open innovation. So what is the open innovation? Open innovation. So can somebody put on the chat what is open innovation? Okay, now most of the time we have to pay for the innovations. Okay, so what do you pay for the innovations? Okay, so after spending a lot of time and money on the research and development coming out as a product, okay, which can be patented, okay, which we need to give a royalty or a copyright or whatever may be. Okay, so but there are some innovations which is open to the public. Okay, for example, there was a lot of debate, discussion, and disagreement. Okay, when the vaccine have a price tag attached to it. Okay, so people have to pay a heavy price to get that kind of vaccine. But maybe if you think from a company point of view, because they are spending a lot of time, okay, they are actually taking a lot of risk, okay, to coming out with innovation. So they want to leverage on their inventions. And sometimes the innovations, the source for innovations is mostly confined inside an organization. Okay. Now, in the case of open innovation, they actually get ideas from the other sources. Okay. So this is open innovation to improve the organized innovation for the new products and exploiting the external ideas. Okay. Now, there's a research said that, okay, the biggest source for innovation is customers. And so why customers are the biggest source of innovation? Because they will be the best people to talk about the pain points. So they can really suggest, okay, this product should work in this way, okay, because that can really help me when I am using the product. Okay. Maybe if the people who are working inside the organization, they may not be able to relate. Or they may not be able to, a lot of time they will be able to put in the shoes of the customers. So the biggest source of the innovation is customers. So can we leverage, okay, can we take the support of customers for the innovation rather than confining inside the organization? So you may be knowing about IKEA. Okay, so IKEA is a classic example for a lot of innovations. Okay, so they come out with the DIY, do it yourself kind of products. So Amazon have a platform where you'll be able to share your ideas. If you're thinking that there can be a new kind of furniture needs to be manufactured or designed, okay, you can share your ideas. Okay, Lego. Okay, Lego is a leader in a toy manufacturing. Okay, so at some point of time, okay, Lego had a big challenge. Okay, so they were not able to get the sales was bit down. So what they did was, okay, they actually seek ideas from the students. I mean, the kids, and this is an example where they created a toy, okay, out of the ideas from the kids. And later on, okay, they actually give, I think around 2 to 3% of the revenues were given back to these kids. Harley Davidson, okay, they have a platform where you can share your ideas. Okay. So this is what we call as open innovation. Now the next one is frugal innovation. So what is a frugal innovation? So a lot of time we feel that, okay, innovation requires a lot of investment in the features. Okay, there should be a massive changes in the product features should be there. Okay, sometimes we may require some basic features. For example, my parents use smartphones, but if I really check their usage, they use phone for calling purposes, and they use WhatsApp extensively, and they use camera. Okay, so but they have purchased a costly mobile phone. So if you really look about the usage, they may be using less than 10 or 20% of all the features available. Okay. Now so if you talk about my parents' need, okay, they may require 4 or 5 needs. So you focus on some core functions, okay, so that, okay, the reduction, you can reduce the cost, okay, and remove all unnecessary function which is expensive to produce. Okay, so I can give you a few examples. So Indians are very famous for frugal innovation, right? Okay, so wherever we want to purchase anything, okay, we want to have a value for money. Okay, so I have seen one Maruti advertisement is very interesting. I think one guy was they were at the space station, and the lead scientist was explaining about the features of this particular rocket. And there was one Indian guy and asking, okay, kitna milega? So what is the mileage? So we want to have a more affordability for everything we want to purchase or use the services. So this is one classic example, okay, of frugal innovation. Okay, if you go to some remote part of India, especially North India, so a lot of people are not able to afford refrigerators. Okay. Now, if you talk about our need for refrigerator, especially working class like us, okay, so we may prepare a sambar on Sunday, and that sambar needs to be needed for till the Friday. Okay, but in North India, that may not be the case. Okay, they may want to keep the food as a spillover. Okay, so the food may come as a spillover. They may want to keep for 1 or 2 days. So this is an example, okay, this product is being created by Mansu Prajapati. Okay, this go with the older traditional model of, okay, leveraging clay for keeping the foods without any kind of deterioration. Okay, so this does not require electricity, and this is very cheap also. So this is another example. In Rajasthan, poor women used to carry water on their head, okay, and because of this small innovation, okay, their effort is being reduced at a bigger way. So this is what we call as open innovation. So in short, okay, we have seen different kinds of, further subdivision of innovation. So one is started with radical innovation, then incremental innovation, then we have seen disruptive innovation, then we have seen open innovation, and then we have seen the frugal innovation. Now, these are some characteristics of innovation. It should be novelty. It should solve the problems of the customers. It should create some kind of value. And whenever there is an innovation, there's a lot of risk and uncertainties involved. And we need to collaborate, and it is an interdisciplinary approach. You should know the customer psychology. You should know UI, UX, you should know coding, okay, you should know physics. Okay. So you need to have a lot of interdisciplinary approach and what is the impact and whether this innovation is scalable. So one classic example is okay, the Byju's. Okay, so Byju's was a uh, business, okay, which was had a great valuation during COVID time, but that business model was scalable. Okay, once this pandemic challenge was over. Okay, so we need to make sure that our innovation should be scalable. Now, so let me ask you a few questions. So, can you talk about which is the most innovative uh, companies in the world? Can you put in the chat which are the most innovative companies in the world? Most innovative companies in the world? Yeah, Tesla, Apple. Good. Any other guesses? Google. Good. Fine. So, yeah, Apple is the most innovative company. Tesla. So when I said about Toyota, which is the largest car manufacturer, but to be a very on the interesting side, Tesla is the most valuable car manufacturer in the world. That is the power of innovation. Okay. So the Alphabet, Microsoft, okay, these are the most innovative companies in the world. Now, can you think about which country is the most innovative country in the world, or can you think about few countries which are more innovative? The countries which are very, yeah, China, Japan, US, UK, Japan. Good. Very, I mean, Japan is a very innovative country. Okay. However, okay, there are a lot of new countries. I mean, not new countries. There are very small countries which have highest innovative quotient. So let us see that. Yeah, so Switzerland, Sweden, US, Netherlands, Denmark, Finland, Singapore, Germany, and the Republic of Korea. Leads to the next point. So this is an something called Global Innovation Index. Okay, so uh, the greener it is, more innovative. Okay, so the blue shades actually shows about countries which are not very innovative. So there's a high correlation between innovation and the improvement of standard of living of the people. Okay, so if the companies or the people are able to produce a lot of innovations, there is a high probability that country will also get developed. So that leads to my next point. What are the top barriers to innovation? Okay, so some of the top barriers is organizational resistance to risk. So whenever if I take a new idea, whether organization will accept it. Okay, so a lot of organizations like Nest, okay, where the ideas being encouraged to share and be discussed. Okay. Now another challenge is whenever we are coming out with a new product, okay, how can we measure the impact of the new innovation? Now that this is the third challenge, biggest challenge a company like us face in a big scale. Okay, so we don't get a proper human resource with the necessary skill set who can really innovate and come out with the new products. Limit technology to support innovation, lack of funding and budgeting. So I'm not sure about whether this. I have heard that okay, around 15 to 20% of the Apple's revenues is plowed back for the research and development. So that becomes a vicious culture. So if you talk about Indian companies, okay, we don't spend more than 2% for the research and development. So that needs to be there. Innovation culture, okay, insufficient leader who have a great focus towards the future. So these are some of the top barriers to innovation. But this is my last point because my time is less. How to create an innovation mindset. Okay. So maybe we will do a small activity. So this activity you may be doing, it may be very familiar. So maybe can you just read in your mind, okay? So you can see the words, right? Okay. So the first word is yellow, blue, orange, black, red, green, purple, right? So you need to read these words as fast as possible in your mind. And maybe I'll pause for 10 seconds. So try to read all the words in a horizontal way as fast as possible. Okay, if you are done this activity, my second activity is try to identify the colors and say the colors. Okay, for example, inside the yellow, the color is green, right? So you need to read like green, red, blue. So try to read that. Okay, I hope that you might have done the both activity. Which activity was difficult, the first activity or the second activity? Can you put on the chat? Second. Okay, second. Now, why second was difficult? Your brain was in conflict, right? Okay, one part of your brain tries to identify the colors and another part of your brain try to identify the words. So that leads to a theory called left brain, right brain theory. You might be knowing this. Okay, so left part, maybe this is developed by Roger W. Sperry. Okay, uh, there is a lot of minor variations and there is a lot of disagreements there. But for Roger W. Sperry generally said that you have two kinds of brain. One is left brain and one is right brain. So left brain is more for logic, okay, sequence, data analysis. Right brain is for imagination and daydreaming. Okay. Now, which brain is good, right or left? So mostly humans maybe either having a critical mindset or a creative mindset. Which brain is good? Okay. Left brain or a critical mindset? Yeah, both, obviously, great. So, in fact, both are very, very essential. However, okay, so we need to, but generally our right brain is not much triggered, okay, in our education system generally, okay, because the way we approach education, most of our education focus more into the rote learning. Okay, we try to bunk up things and try to vomit in the answer paper. However, we need to have a different outlooks towards education, try to understand the application of it, okay, challenge, do some projects, okay, challenge the different theories, okay, or give some kind of hands-on exposure. So that is what we needed when you study something. Okay, so both are important. Okay, for example, let me ask you another question. The great inventors like Isaac Newton or Albert Einstein, so what kind of brain they may have a domination? Is it a critical brain or is a creative brain? Which brain can be a dominated? Whether they are more into a logic kind of people or they are more into a creative kind of people. Okay, left brain. In fact, they are very good in leveraging both, but in sense, okay, they may be a little bit higher on a creative side because they always try to think outside the box. Okay, for example, when Apple fell down, okay, Isaac Newton first thought that how this Apple fell down. Okay, it should go up, right? Okay, so it was like imagination. So Albert Einstein once said, "Imagination is better than knowledge." Burj Khalifa. So where it is created, it was first created in the mind. Then they put their brain, logical brain. So we need to have a lot of imagination in when we apply our studies. So that comes to the end of the session. So there is a thing called divergent and convergent thinking. So what do you mean by divergent thinking? Okay, going away from a point, converging is coming to a point. Okay, so divergent is more about creativity and convergent is coming to a logic or to the specific information. So both are really critical if you want to develop a innovation mindset. Okay. I think that comes to because my time is very less. So I think we have some time for a Q&A session.
If student is able to. Thank you, sir. That was such an interactive and insightful presentation, and I appreciate our audience for their active participation. Now we open the floor for questions. Please feel free to type your queries in the chat box. I repeat, audience, please feel free to type your queries in the chat box.
If the student is able to, but they haven't, shall they? If the student is able to, I mean, I didn't understand the question. If the student is able to think, but they having the qualification. Sweta, can you also help in that question?
So if you want to answer that question, you may.
No, not okay. I didn't understand the question. Okay.
Yeah. Could you please
Yeah, do things. If the student is able to do things, but they haven't qualified, shall they? Yeah, so it's a good question. I understand. I understand. Okay, so which is a good question. Okay, it's depends upon company. Okay, now there are a lot of instances where company does not look for the qualification; they look for the skills. Okay. I know a lot of companies. Okay, they doesn't look about your qualifications. Now, the best way is to showcase your skill set in different platforms like hackathons, okay, or you go to Hacker Earth or some other platforms where you can showcase your skills, where the qualification is, because once you showcase and get your ranking, okay, you will be noticed by a lot of people. But generally, if you want to get into a tier 1 or tier 2 companies, because company may look for a basic qualification with a basic mark. But a lot of startups or a lot of companies are okay in not considering the qualification.
audience, if you have any queries, this is the time for interaction. You may type your queries in the chat box.
Yeah, please feel free to ask questions. In your, okay, so there was a question directly written to me. Okay, in your point of view, what is the most useful innovation? Okay, it is a bit difficult to say. I would say that that is very subjective. Okay, because each people will have their own challenges. For example, if I'm a physically challenged person, okay, I would like to have a innovation which can really help me to live an ordinary life. So it depends upon person to person.
I guess we have no more questions from the audience end. So
Okay, fine, good. So in that case, so if you want to get connected me, okay, you can connect me to uh, LinkedIn, and maybe you can also connect or follow the Nest digital page, okay, where you'll be able to understand what are the opportunities that are coming up in Nest Group. Okay. So thank you very much for the wonderful session. I mean, patient listening, and thanks, Sweta, for coordinating that activity.
thank you, sir. That brings us to our end of the session. I want to express my heartfelt appreciation to Mr. Pradeep S. for generously sharing his wealth of knowledge and insights. I'd also like to extend my gratitude to all the participants for their active engagement and thought-provoking questions. As a reminder, for those who have not yet filled the attendance sheet, I would like to remind them to fill it duly. And I also request you all participants to fill out the feedback form provided in the chat box. Thank you, sir. Thank you for this wonderful session. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Veda. Have a great weekend for all.
Have a great. Audience, please fill out the feedback form that would be provided in the chat box. And we hope you found this session valuable and look forward to your continued participation in future webinars. Have a fantastic evening ahead.